In the early 1990s, the theme park Expoland opened and quickly established itself as a quintessential experience for visitors in Osaka, Japan. However, tragedy struck on May 5, 2007, when an incident on the Fujin Raijin II roller coaster resulted in the loss of a young life and exposed shocking neglect and negligence within Expoland's maintenance practices. The investigation into the incident would reshape safety regulations forever and result in the inevitable closure of Expoland. But what exactly happened that day? Let's talk about it. This is the Expoland disaster, the death of Yoshina Kogowara. Expoland was a theme park located in Osaka, Japan. It opened in 1970 and was one of the first major amusement parks in the Kansai region. The original idea for Expo was to be a temporary amusement zone, but due to its popularity, it was opened as a full-time park in 1972. The park spanned 2.4 acres and quickly became one of the must-do things when visiting Osaka. Over the years, Expoland continued to grow in popularity and became a beloved destination. The park featured a range of over 40 rides and attractions, including roller coasters, themed areas, shops, and restaurants. The rides at the park were known for pushing the limit, being extremely large and fast. Rides such as the iconic Disasterthon, a steel roller coaster that operated since the park's opening, known for its impressive size, speed, and unique design. Another notable attraction was the Monster, with its intimidating height of over 130 feet and a speed of 68 miles per hour. However, Expoland's most notorious roller coaster was the Fujin Raijin II, which gained a reputation for its speed, intense loops, and its exhilarating experience. The Fujin Raijin II was a stand-up coaster built by the company Togo, which opened at Expoland in 1992. The original Fujin Raijin was moved to a different theme park previously in the year, and the second version promised to be the bigger and better version, and Expoland delivered on their promise. The track was an impressive 985 metres, and a 6-car roller coaster would travel along the track at a speed in excess of 75 km. Each car would accommodate 4 riders, with a maximum coaster capacity of 24 people. Riders would stand, their safety restraints being an over-the-shoulder harness and a lap bar. The roller coaster layout is straightforward, featuring winding sections with alternating up and downs, along with 2 horizontal loops towards the end, and it would last for around 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The ride opened to great success and received great reviews from members of the public. Over the next few years, the Fujin Raijin II quickly solidified itself as a fan favourite and one of the park's most popular attractions. The ride ran without problem, or so anyone thought, until May of 2007, when disaster struck, changing countless of lives and destroying Expoland's reputation forever. As was the law in Japan at the time, the ride would be taken apart each year for inspection and maintenance. That year, it was done in spring of 2007. After doing some work, the ride was put back together and reopened ready for the 2007 Expoland season. This brings us up to Saturday the 5th of May 2007, where at 12:40 PM, 20 riders were loaded onto the Fujin Raijin II, ready to ride. The ride departed at 12:45 PM and climbed up the first hill without problem. However, after the train climbed the second valley, the left wheel axle on car 2 snapped. The car continued down the track for another 500 meters, and once approaching a straight section of the track, the wheel assembly fell out of the train, causing it to lose its left support. This resulted in the car tilting over at a 45-degree angle onto a support handrail on the side. After the train hit the rail, it stopped suddenly. In car 2 was 19-year-old Yoshino Kogowara, a company employee from the Higashimi city. When the train crashed, her head struck the rail and then got caught between the leaning car and the rail, killing her instantly. Emergency services rushed to the scene. Another young woman also suffered serious head injuries. The other 18 people on board, who were aged 11 to 45, were all transported to hospital but were fine, only suffering from minor injuries. The park was closed, and an investigation into the incident was launched. This investigation would shine a light on absolutely shocking neglect by Expoland, which would eventually result in the park's closure. In 1992, Japan had very lax laws regarding the maintenance of theme park rides, and there was little to no governing body that would make sure the rides were up to scratch. The owners of Expoland knew this, and to save money, they would do as little maintenance as possible. Although the law did state each part had to be thoroughly looked at, there was no one to make sure the park did. The investigation found that the wheels on the roller coaster had never been replaced and were in a shocking state. The roller coaster operated with 5 wheels on both the left and right sides of each vehicle, securely enclosing the rail from above, below, and outside. It was found that in this incident, a portion of the axle located on the lower left front of the second vehicle fractured, leading to the detachment of the wheel. According to the Engineering Research Institute, the shaft was broken due to fatigue failure of the threaded part due to insufficient tightening of the nut that fixes the shaft. No tests were done by Expoland when doing their annual maintenance, except visual ones. It was even claimed that the wheel axles were in such bad shape, the maintenance crew used glue to keep them in place. Although Togo were not to blame for the lack of inspections done by the park, they were put under scrutiny for the design of the roller coaster. The axle was not designed for the stress the car was put under on the ride. Over the years of repeat rides, the excessive stress would result in strain on the axle, leading it to break. Although, this could have been prevented by proper routine maintenance, and they were not found guilty. The investigation had also shown that Yoshino had died from a fatal blow to the head after colliding with the handrail. The impact was so strong that it caused the support behind her back to bend and the padding around her left shoulder to twist behind her. The incident, and her death, caused an emergency inspection by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism to look into roller coasters across the country. Shockingly, they found that approximately 40% had not undergone flaw detection tests on their wheel axles. After, they ensured they would strengthen measures and increase safety. Parks that did not comply would be fined. This led to many parks closing down. After the incident, further inspections into the Fujin Raijin were conducted, leading to its deconstruction, and Expoland would close down. 3 months after, Expoland reopened, but the park's reputation suffered massively due to the accident. People knew what happened. They didn't want to go anymore as they didn't trust the park. Expoland only opened a few months and then shut down in December of 2007. 2 years later, in 2009, 3 Expoland executives were found guilty of causing death by professional negligence and were charged at Osaka District Court. After the accident, the park remained closed, but many of the rides were not dismantled. Due to financial troubles, the park was left to rot for many months, before eventually being taken down. The shocking events that day changed safety regulation regarding theme parks forever in Japan, and there have been very little theme park accidents happen there ever since. The cause of the disaster was neglect and negligence, in the hopes to save money, but it ended up costing a life. This was a massive story in Japan at the time, but has since been forgotten by many. I hope all the victims are doing better today, and may Yoshino rest in peace. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you appreciate my work, subscribe, and if you want to go the extra step to support the channel, maybe consider becoming a member. Let me know what you think about this case in the comments below. The accident report is online, and it is well worth a read. The park did so many things wrong. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching.